that we have is a very good show reel. I believe we're going to be showing that shortly. It kind of encompasses, or shall I say, puts everything together what I've done over the 18 years. 18 years, well, I was looking at the balloons today and I think, I feel like 18 actually. But I'm not. I think I'm times 2 plus maybe another 4 or 5. But from a business perspective, 18 years is it's not been easy, but I just did it because I was really passionate and I really wanted to do my own thing. So when I first started, I remember it was around the 4th of June actually, around 2001-ish, I think it was. And I literally just said, I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to start, and I'm here 18 years later. Please do come in, sit on the seats. There's some head seats here. Okay, so an evening with me, so much to share. I'll tell you the information that I will give you is very invaluable. It's going to be very interesting. Get your pens and papers ready. Opportunity to ask questions, hear my story, and also if anybody wants an exclusive to work with me, people that want to build up their business, there's definitely an opportunity. We have some 2 speakers later on, we may have 3, that will be talking about multiplying streams of income, because I think that's quite important when you're trying to start your own business and really grow and move yourself forward. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. So for the Facebook and the Instagram live, can we just give a big clap so everyone can hear? Great. So I'll get straight into. Before I start, actually, I want to say thank you to everybody that supported me. I think that's really important. Sometimes you kind of forget how you got here, and it's definitely support from other people that have been supportive to me in good times, in challenging times, and times when I've won awards, times when it's been very dark, and I'd say definitely my support has come from the people. And I think the fact that I'm different, I'm unique, and I just go all out. And that's what I've been doing, regardless of some of the storms and the tsunamis and stuff that's been happening. So thank you very much, everybody. So a bit about me. Interesting. Mavis Amankwah. I look at my name and I think, wow, you've come a really long way. And this evening is just for me to share my story as much as I can in about 30 minutes, or shall I say about an hour, but giving you the kind of nuggets and really just helping you to prepare and look at how can you move yourselves forward. A lot of people in business do not last more than 5 years. Statistically, it says that only 4 businesses will make it up to year 5. And loads of reasons, including cash flow, marketing, and not having the know-how, so many different reasons why people can't sustain. And I'll be sharing some of mine with you as well and how I overcame them. But I think most importantly, it's down to you, the individual. You need to be able to really toughen up and say to yourself, I can do this no matter what, no matter how it is. And being able to really look at yourself and say, yes, I started and I need to make sure I finish. And I think for me, I started kind of not in a straight line. I didn't start with a plan. I had a few humps and bumps along the way, but I always see myself as swimming. So I'm always looking at, Mavis, you're swimming. Just make sure whatever you do, you just keep going. You can have a breather, you can have an armband if you want. You can keep swimming, but don't stop and don't go back. And that's literally what I've been doing for the past 18 years. And it's been really interesting when I looked at my kind of work that I've done. I was looking at my CV, my profile, everything. I'm thinking, wow, you've done a lot. You've done a lot, Mavis, from working with government to working with small businesses, micro businesses, entrepreneurs, to speaking engagements, to being on the same platform as Richard Branson, going to South Africa, Germany, Tunisia. It's been like really, really great. And, I've had some really, really great support. And I think that is one of the key things, getting the support from your family and friends as well. So, this is my story. So for me, I would say that things really begun or kicked off around properly when I knew I really wanted to start a business around 2000, around 1999, 2000, where I was working as an IT consultant. I studied IT, I was an IT consultant, technician. It was good money, but I wasn't passionate about it. And I realised that if I stay in this job, I will have regrets. So I decided around 2000 to actually start doing research on how I could start my own business. And literally the rest is history, and I'll be sharing more of that with you. Who am I? Interesting. Business owner, an entrepreneur, ambassador, award winner, mentor, coach, guru, and some people even call me the local Oprah. And I know one day I will get to it. And you know, it's interesting because this was me when I was about probably 8 or 9 months old. And as a young girl growing up in London in the early 70s, it was quite hard. I lost my confidence when I was about 4 years old. And a lot of people, when I say to people, oh, I don't have confidence, or I didn't have confidence about 10 or 15 years ago, people don't believe me. Now, I had a really traumatic childhood. My childhood was so traumatic that even up to today, I still have issues with it. But I think for me, business helped me to kind of overcome my obstacles as a young child. So my mum came here in 1972 for an arranged marriage. It went absolutely wrong. Within 3 years of being here, she had to literally make a decision to stay here in the UK or go back to Ghana, and she decided that she would stay here with me. And I kind of grew up in a place that was really hard, Canning Town, if anybody knows there. It was very white English at that time. Being African was a crime. I used to go to school, everyone used to pick on me, from my hair to my surname to my look to everything. And as a young child, I just lost confidence because I just realised, you know, as I've gotten older, the reasons why I lost confidence is because I was being bullied, but not physically bullied, just emotionally, from just school, from racism. I remember a guy, I must have been about 7, and he came up to me and he spat in my eye and he said, "That's because of your colour." And I looked at him and I just stood in the playground and I just cried. And I never forget that day. I remember his name, I remember his face, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, when I look back, why did he do that? But obviously, those times was hard. It was hard for, you know, our parents in the 70s. My mum had signs. She would go to a public place and it would say, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. And, you know, that was everywhere. And when you look kind of like 30, 40 years later, you can see a great change and you can see the diversity. If you go to Canning Town now, it's completely different. Diverse audience. It's really growing in population, in buildings, in, you know, it's an area that is actually, I can see being the next Shoreditch or something like that in years to come. So for me, growing up in East London was tough, but one good thing is I met someone called Idris Elba. Everybody knows who he is. I think when we were about 9 years old, those days there used to be lots of family gatherings, and we used to go to lots of parties and all our families would get together, and I got to know him through just family and friends, and meeting him gave me the opportunity to meet other people. I used to meet him in the morning when I used to go to school, and then, you know, 30, 40 years later, he's you know, a huge star in Hollywood. So it's really great to kind of see, like, people can come from any background. You can be from any background, and your DNA is not going to tell you who you're going to be. And I think as a community, especially ethnic communities, that's something that holds us back. Oh, because of my generation, because of my colour, because of my DNA, because of so many things, because I lack confidence, because my teacher said that I couldn't. So you literally have this thing inside you that basically starts making you lose confidence as you go along. So, as I said, from about the age of about 5 or 6, my mum remarried and everything was fine. I had 2 brothers after that. But unfortunately, when I was about 9 years old, I was kidnapped by a paedophile at knife point and I nearly died. I went to the shop to buy some shoelaces and bread because my mum couldn't go with me to go and buy the shoelaces and bread, and I was supposed to go for about 10-15 minutes, and I went missing for over 45 minutes. And what happened was, I was literally picked up by a paedophile that was literally going to take my life. And I managed to escape after like a 1 hour ordeal. And the interesting thing about it was, when I escaped and I got home, my mum was so upset. She actually was shouting, ready to, you know, give me that big wallop. And then I explained what happened, and my mum said, wow, I don't believe it. I don't believe what's happened. And what happened was, with that incident, I had to literally be off school for about 6 months. It became a massive police case. It was on the news, it was in the newspapers. 9-year-old girl's been abducted at knife point. I have a very photographic memory. So I had to give a photo fit of what this person looked like, what colour was their car, what type of car it was. And it was really hard because I just wanted to play out with my friends, but I didn't realise the seriousness of the case until I was about 16 or 17, when eventually this person was caught and he had killed 5 girls in East London. Yes, it was a very, 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 very tough time, and for me, that made me lose every bit of confidence, even just going out, because I just literally went to the shop. Go to the shop, 45 minutes, come back, you know, play out, and literally the case was a massive case. It came on, we had, many years ago, there was a program called Police 5. So it was a bit like your Crime Watch, but it wasn't Crime Watch, it was Police 5. And they said, this 9-year-old girl's been abducted by this paedophile. They showed where I walked, they showed the whole of Canning Town. Those days, Canning Town, you would literally have to go underneath a subway to get to the other side. And I was literally going under the subway to get to home, and I was held at knife point. And I was slapped, I saw some things that I wasn't supposed to see. It was literally like a horror movie. And when he was caught, when I heard that he got life and he had killed 5 girls in my area, I was literally just like so shocked. All my family was shocked. Everyone was like, Mavis, you are so lucky. So that literally kind of took me in a downward spiral, and I didn't really get the help that I needed, just because nobody knew what to do. You know, it wasn't like an everyday incident where, you know, you might be a naughty child and someone can give you advice. And my mum literally just really, really struggled to try and help me to get through. And because I was only 9, it just didn't make sense. Like every time I think we've gone to the shop, been kidnapped, you know, and I remember being in Canning Town and people would point and go, there's that girl that was kidnapped. And for me, it all didn't make sense, as I said, till I got to about 16 or 17. So anyway, when that happened, that kind of took me out of school. I wasn't sure what I was doing. I was a bit confused. And then when I was about 11, I had a really big issue. My hair caught on fire. I had 50-degree burns, and I was bald for about 4 or 5 years. So that again took me out of school, and just literally, I just lost every single confidence, from not knowing, you know, who my real father was, to being kidnapped, to losing my hair. You know, by the time I was like 16, 17, 18, I literally had so many traumatic emotions inside me. I didn't know how to even deal with them, and because I didn't get the help, it literally was really hard. But one thing is, though, about me is that I didn't let that stop me from what I was doing. I still managed to complete school. I went to a brown school, we call it St Angela's, which is about 2 miles away from here. It was an all-girls and nun school, very strict. I went there, I managed to get quite a few good GCSEs, then I went to college, I studied IT, then I went on to do further studying, and literally it was just a matter of just, you know, working within the IT industry and realising that it wasn't really for me, that I actually wanted to do my own thing, and I had a passion for business. So despite all the things that happened to me as a young child, I literally didn't let that stop me from what I'm doing. And as time went on, I started getting counselling, getting help, and realising that you can overcome this. And it's really interesting, because if you spoke to me maybe 15, 20 years ago, I couldn't tell anybody about my story. But I realised that the more people I told my story and where I've come from and what I've done, it made me realise that I was quite powerful. Powerful in terms of showing people that things can happen to you, bad things can happen, failures can happen, trauma can happen, but you can still move forward. So that kind of led me on to like building up my confidence again. And by the time I was like 22, I would be speaking at events. I'll go to events, I'll speak to people, start engaging with people. And by the time I was like 28, 29, I said, right, I'm going to start my own business. So that was the little girl who lost her confidence. That's here today, you know, kind of 43 or so years later. And it's great because when I look back, I just think, wow, you've come a long way. You know, for a lot of people would say to me, would you let your children out? Do you let your children go anywhere? And I said, yeah, I do, because I can't, you know, I can't hold them and say, look, stay in because of this is what happened to me. And, you know, it's been quite a journey, but I managed to overcome. So where am I now? Interesting. MavisAmankwah.com. A lot of the information about me and about who I am and where I've been and where I'm going is all on my website. And I kind of looked at putting something together for myself and for people to understand my story and my journey of my personal life, my social life and my business life as well. And putting together a personal website literally helped me to be where I am today. When I first started off in business, a lot of people say you have to go for the brand, you have to go for the brand. And I was thinking, no, why can't I talk about me? Why can't I talk about what I'm doing? Why can't I talk about Mavis Amankwah? And then about, I think, 10, 15 years ago, I put my own site together. And literally, that is what people, you know, when they're saying we want something, all they say is contact Mavis, contact Mavis, contact Mavis. And my personal profile is literally what helped me to kind of build up myself and be here today. Despite going through 2 recessions, despite going through some business, you know, dramas and challenges, are still going. And that was definitely down to personal branding. And it's really great to be here and to be standing here saying I'm celebrating 18 years in business. And I'll be sharing some of my story about how I started, where I got to and where I'm going as well. So I looked at these pictures here, quite interesting pictures. I've employed about 100 staff over the last 18 years. Given names, I was like, oh right, where's this person, that person, this person, that person. And the great thing is a lot of the employees that I've worked with, I still have good relationships with them as well. So I've had quite a lot of them that have gone on. I had one lady, Jessica, she worked with me for about 7 years. She literally was in PR and decided to be a nurse, and she's still doing PR now, but decided to change her career to nursing. I had another lady who literally was here with me for about 3 years. She went to live in South Africa, started her own business, international business in South Africa. I've had some amazing opportunities for myself, and I'm always a person that always, when I employ a team, I always employ a team that, one, that's confident, and two, that has a vision to do their own thing. And that's when people come to me and say, right, Mavis, I want to do this, I'll go, fine, you know. So it's just basically, you know, I've basically built up a lot of people in terms of building them up for their business, and also at the same time just helping them to have a really good focus on their career and where they're going as well. So I kind of looked at some of the pictures that I had, the awards that I've won. I decided to go back to uni. I had loads of qualifications within IT. I was always learning. I decided that I just want to wear that gown. And I remember in like 1999, I said to one of my friends that I was going to uni, and she said, why? And I said, I just want to wear the gown. And she's like, oh, you can just put the gown on and you can pretend. And I said, no, I want to make it happen. And I'll tell you one thing, that took me 8 years. I deferred so many times because I was running a business, a family and so forth. And you know, after 8 years, I graduated last year. I did a BA honours degree in marketing and management. It was really good. It was tough, you know, just trying to juggle that and the family and the business. You know, some of the pictures that when I look at them, I'm just thinking, wow, this Forbes magazine was literally last year, where, for instance, I had this kind of fans, if you like. I had the opportunity to be in so many different newspapers. People would call me and say to me, right, The Guardian are doing this, would you like to do an article? The Telegraph are doing a piece on how can you grow your business, Virgin.com. And then the last one that came was Forbes. And they were like, wow. My friend said to me, how did you get in Forbes magazine? And I said, you know what, it's hard work and effort. And I've realised that I have literally worked hard all my life, regardless of whatever happens. And that's something that I really have strong determination for. I'm a person that I will never give up, because even from a young child, as I was saying to you, from the racism, as a young child, from all the things that I went through, I realised that I was quite strong-headed, and I was, never going to give up. So, it's been a mission, and it's been a really great journey. At the moment we have a really great team, and we have a lot of young people. I've got a real passion for working with young people, because, they're the future, they're the next generation. And it's been really great. I mean, I've kind of moved over to Stratford. This is my 4th time of actually having an office in Stratford. So I've been in Stratford for about 8 years on and off. Then I went over to Canary Wharf. Then I came back to Stratford. And I worked out the other day that I've actually had about 10 different offices. And that's just been growth, challenges, trying to work out where I want to be. And I kind of said to myself, go to Canary Wharf. And that was amazing. It was great to be in Canary Wharf, but nobody wanted to come. Why? Because we can't park. And I realised that took about 2 or 3 years for me to realise that Canary Wharf wasn't really the place. It was to come back to Stratford, and Stratford is our home. So we're here to stay in Stratford, and we do have like a virtual office in Canary Wharf, and we're also working with other partners outside of London, but this is our home. Stratford is our home, and East London is where I'll always be. People say to me, would you move out of East London? Probably not, but I do love where I come from, and I've seen like Newham, for instance, really grow. When I was around in the 70s, it was just loads of docks. The other day I went to a place around Tate and Lyle. I don't know if anybody's been there, around the Tate and Lyle area, which is Silvertown. The place is amazing. It's like, wow, is this London? The house prices are expensive, and the layout and the look and the feel, you just think, wow, I remember playing around here, and there didn't used to be anything here. So I'm quite good in terms of knowing East London and how East London developed as well. Family. So for those of you who don't know, even though I don't look past 21, I'm just convincing myself. I have 2 children. I have a son who's 24, and I have a daughter who's 18. I literally gave up the business. I literally gave up my career to look after the children and run a business. And when I was making that decision, my husband was very supportive. And I had people say, why do you need to do that? Why do you need to start your own business? And it was the other day when my daughter said to me, Mum, I remember all the time, I would drop her at the school gate. Sometimes I'd go in, sometimes I wouldn't. And she goes, Mum, I don't regret you starting your own business, because it's made me so independent. Because I remember dropping at school gates, and she'd go like, Mum, don't you want to come in and talk to the mums? I'm like, no, I'm too busy. You can go in and, and we'd always be there for opening evenings and giving all the support. And I think the flexibility of having your own business really helps when you're trying to raise children, because you're able to help them with their homework, have time for them, and do what you need to do. And, my daughter must have been about, I think she was like 1 or 8 months when I started, and my son was about 4 or 5. And I just said, go for it. And, the rest of it is history. And seeing them now, I don't even hardly see them. My daughter is at Warwick University. My son lives in Southend, and finding them is like a task, just it's so strange, like where all of a sudden you have all these children around you, and all of a sudden they've all gone, One thing I would say, that time has flown. It has flown so quickly. I just can't believe 18 years has just happened just like that. So I would say that whatever you want to do, whatever you're dreaming about, you need to literally make sure that you do what you can. I want to create a legacy. I want to make sure when I'm 80 on my walking stick and walking around, going up and down and going, oh, what did you achieve? Talking to my best friend, like someone like Maria that's known me for, 20 plus years. Oh, what did we achieve, Maria? And we can talk about it, and we can say, right, we didn't achieve everything, but we had literally some dreams that we thought about, and those thoughts actually came into action. So yes, family is everything. My mum, bless her, she is my backbone. For her to come here at the age of 19 years old to a country where she knew nobody. She just had one cousin and had, you know, quite a few challenges, and decided that she's got to move forward. You know, I definitely got to give it to her, and she's worked really hard. She studied, she ran her own business. You know, she really, really kind of supported as well me in terms of the business as well, and definitely my family, you know, my husband, the kids, very, very supportive. And you need that, especially when you're having challenges. When you're having challenges in business, you can't really tell people, well, right, I'm really going through some, you know, tough things. I remember about 6-7 years ago when I was going through a challenge, and I was trying to explain to someone, I'm like, oh, but we've seen you on Facebook, and you know, and I said, yeah, it's all okay on Facebook, but I can't actually go and tell everyone on Facebook this is my particular challenge on this particular day. But the great thing is when you have family and good friends, they really help you to move forward. Have a drink of water, please, Stella. But just think about, what does success mean to you? For some people it could mean money, for some people it could be a private jet, for some people it could be just a small home, for some people it could be just having a goldfish. It really depends. But really, one thing I would say, there is no limit to success. But it's about how much you want it, what you want to achieve, why you want to achieve it, and how are you going to achieve it. So it's literally making sure and looking and saying there are no limits. It's all about you. I've realised over the years that one of the things that I needed to do was really believe in myself beyond my own imagination. And 18 years on, we've seen what has happened. So, some of the things that have really helped me definitely over the years, when I first started business, we had fax machines. I don't even know if you can pick up a fax machine now, but everything, there was no emails, there was no, there was no emails, contact was like limited, there was no mobiles, come to think about it. When I think about it now, I think, wow, look at technology. It's amazing. You can do everything from your phone. You can build up your network. And I think for me, even though I'd built up my network over the years, even though there wasn't a lot of technology, social media has definitely been one. It's been one. And where I've had the opportunity to go to events and speak at events, I've seen that I didn't realise, I think until about 2012, that I had like a following, because I just literally was beavering away, doing my work, doing my business, going out speaking, helping people. And then I remember going to an event at the business show, and I got there, and I was supposed to speak, and the room was holding about 50 people. So I've got to the business show now, and I said, oh, where am I speaking today? So you're speaking in that room. And I was like, okay, it's room for 50 people. And there was a queue that was going right round the corner. It must have had about 150 people. And I said, oh, I don't think I'm in this room. I think this is not for me. And I went, no, this is for you. And I said, who, me? I'm Mavis Amankwah. And I said, yeah, all these people want to hear you speak. And I was like, wow, I can't believe it. And then from there, I just started getting all different bookings. I had the opportunity to speak on the same stage as Levi Roots when he won the Dragon's Den. I was at his launch event. Then that led on to an opportunity to speak at the Business 2012 with Richard Branson, Alan Sugar. And then from there, I just started having this influx of people just booking me to go and speak in different countries and at different events and talk about business, talk about motherhood, talk about balancing, talk about a woman in business, being a woman, being a black woman, and literally from there, everything just kind of spiraled, and that just continued, The other day I had someone message me and said, oh, can you come and speak in Romania in September? Then I had someone just message me the other day and says, can you do this feature for women in business for like a really big company, So social media is definitely the way forward, but it's the type of social media. For me, LinkedIn has been amazing. How I got from 0 LinkedIn to 11,000 has been a lot of hard work, but not realising that I built up this fan base of people that really wanted to see someone that looked like them, whether it be a woman, whether it be someone from East London. I realised that I was building up this following just because there wasn't a lot of people out there like me doing what I was doing. So social media is definitely one. speaking opportunities, you know, contacts. You know, your network is your net worth. I didn't hear that. Your network is your
Net worth.
That has been really key for me, where I've had so many different contacts and networks. It's literally helped me to sustain and keep going, because I must admit, it's not been straightforward and it's not been a straight line. It has been like this. You know, when you have when you're on the operating table and you've watched that person's pulse or whatever going up and down, that's what it's been like, and it's like that, you know, and you try and make it as straight as possible. So you have to be really thick-skinned, you have to be able to take risks, you have to be prepared for the storms, because you just don't know when they could be coming. So my business mission now, after achieving so much, and I'll be showing you some of my achievements, there's lots of things that I want to do. I want to open more businesses, I want to help more people, I want to look at becoming the first black woman in a dragon's den. You know, there's a lot in terms of becoming a dragon, not going for money. You know, and my mission is to accomplish what makes me happy. You know, I don't want to be there in 50 years' time and having regrets and going, oh, I didn't do this and I didn't do that because of X, Y, Z. So my mission and my vision is huge, and you know, I might be. Look out for me. You might see me here actually, or over there, or over there. What do you think? You think I'm in the middle? Okay, fine. Okay, so can you guys, you know, give me a whoop 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 whoop? And if I don't make it to the Dragon's Den, guess what? I'll create my own. I'm doing it already with funding and loans and finance, but it's about really just working towards that. Wikipedia. I got a Wikipedia page about, I think, 8-9 years ago. It took me 2 years to get a wiki page. That was like a lot of hard work, effort. You need to have a lot of references. You need to talk about what you've been doing. You need to be able to tell people why you're having a wiki page. It can be taken down at any time. And that has literally just been something that I've built up in regards to all the work and the kind of networks that I have and the people that I've been helping as well. And I've had some amazing opportunities I'll be sharing with you. This is a PR Week Power Book. I was in the PR Week Power Book for 5 consecutive years. And that was just due to all the work that I've been doing, working within diversity communications. I'll be explaining a little bit more about the businesses that I have, but this was based on me helping organisations to reach ethnic minority communities. And I had the opportunity to be in PR Week Power Book for 5 years, and it was amazing, because every time I went into that book, I looked, my name was A, I'd be on the first page, and there wouldn't be many people that looked like me in there, and I thought, wow. And as you know, PR industry is an industry that is very middle class, white middle class, doesn't really have a lot of people of ethnic minorities. So it gave me the opportunity to be in the Power Book and win more business and contracts as well. Business awards, again, I could talk about the 16. I think I need 2 more, and then I'll be year on year. That means year on year I'll win an award. So hopefully there's one that's coming, but that one's going to be a big one, but I can't tell you about that one yet. But it's going to be a big one, look out for that one. But it's just great to be awarded for your work, even though sometimes you feel like you're just kind of beavering away, you don't know what's going on, you're trying to get your bills paid, work out your cash flow, get your business flowing, win that contract, hoover the floor, but when you win the awards, it actually makes you feel like, wow, you are actually doing something. So I would say awards are a good one, and it was great because I looked at this a few days ago and I copied and pasted. I was thinking, wow, got loads there, lots and lots of finalist awards, from the Great British Entrepreneurs Award to National Diversity, finalist of National Diversity. I've had like 2 honorary awards over the last 2 years. It's been great. And when I look at this and I think, is that the same Mavis Amankwah that was picked on from young, that had all of those traumas and all of those problems in terms of being young, and to achieve all these accolades? That means that anyone can do what they want to do as long as they put their mind to it. Then this was really great, the features, over 300 different media features. I'm 45 this year. When I was 40, the team I was working with, I said, Google my name and get every single piece of newspaper media coverage you can get. And basically they put it all together, and then they gave me a big surprise and go, "Happy birthday." And when they revealed it, it was like a massive collage of just all the different newspapers I'd been in, from Metro to The Guardian to, you know, some of the diverse papers, women in business papers. You know, it's been a great journey. You know, I wouldn't really regret anything, even though it has not been easy, but it's been very, very good. So, question is, what is your mission? I'm giving you that as homework. Make sure you hand it in next week, this time, and we'll have our teachers to mark it. What is your mission? You know, where are you going? What do you want in life? What is it that you really want to do? I think that's something that you need to ask yourself, and things change all the time, but what is it that you really want? So really, for me, I help to turn people's passion into profits. I have, at the moment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, businesses that I run. And that's literally been the multiple streams of income. And doing other stuff with other people and partnering with other people. So you've got Rich Vision Small Business, helping businesses. I run an awards ceremony called the Be Mogul. I've got my own brand, speaking, PR and so forth. And I have a business club called the Women Like Me. And they all run different projects and initiatives and programs accordingly. And I'm revealing today, this is the first time I'm revealing this officially. You guys have heard it first, and those live. I'm opening up a new recruitment agency that's launching in about 4 weeks' time. Yeah, it's been really great. And I mean, one thing I would say, that team, you know, there's no I in team. When you have like a really good team, you work with people who understand you, that can really help you to build up your passion and your vision, then it can help you come out of your comfort zone. Now this is not in my comfort zone. I'm PR, I'm marketing, I'm communications, I'm the lady that speaks. This is a recruitment agency. And guess what type of recruitment agency it is? It's employing nurses. Completely out of my comfort zone. And it's a really great challenge, and make sure you watch the space and find out more of what I'm doing. But that's going to be happening in a few weeks. I also do lots of help lots of companies with tuition, and you know, helping them to build their business and build up their tuition centres. I've got so much knowledge, so much information, so much power, expertise, and now I want to share that with many people. So opening these businesses as well has given me the opportunity to use my skill set and really grow my business. So, as I said, Rich Vision Small Business is what you'll probably all know about, which is helping small businesses with marketing, PR, loans, funding. And it's really great because, I mean, Maria, as she said, she's been with us for like 3 years, and we have literally worked with so many businesses, helping them with funding. A lot of people don't know how to get funding, the business loans, they don't have a business plan, they don't have a cash flow, they don't know what it is. And we've literally worked over the last 5 years to help, I believe, around 715 businesses. We've done really, really, really well. And we've basically secured about £7 million worth of funding for a lot of businesses. Just last month alone, we helped a lady secure 75k to grow her business. And we do lots of startups from 5k to 15k to 80k, you know. And what I was seeing was, when I was running a business a few years ago in 2009, the recession came in, and I realised that I couldn't go back to fixing computers because that wasn't really, you know, in. This was like days of Microsoft and CompTIA, you know, in 2009, 2010, that was out of fashion, and I knew that I wasn't going to go back to IT. So I started this business, which was a business stop shop, helping people with all their business needs, and we've helped quite a lot of people. And you know, it's been really great when you see people come up to you. I've had people literally crying, go, "Mavis, you've helped me so much. You've given me that breakthrough that I needed." People would cry, people would laugh, people would send you gifts and envelopes and just go, "Mavis, thank you," or "Rich Visions, thank you." And you just think, wow, that's going to wake me up, you know, the next day. And that's what keeps you going, knowing that you're helping people and they're seeing an achievement. They've seen an improvement as well. So I won't talk too much about that. We help with funding. As I said, 7 million. We've done really well, and these are like £5,000, 10,000, 15, 20, and what you have to go through. A lot of people struggle with business plans. They struggle with cash flow. They struggle to actually be able to put everything down on paper and what they need. And we've done that by helping them with finance. And this is all funding. These are all like business loans as well. So yeah, 600, actually it's about 715 at the moment, but that's like a few months ago. And we've approved loads of people. And then this is Rich Visions, Reaching the Unreachable. When I first started off, basically diversity communications, helping people to reach out to diverse communities. I saw there was a big gap in the market and went forward and looked at ways of helping people. And what was great about this, I had the opportunity to work with big brands, HSBC, Lloyds Bank, Asda, the Home Office. And what was really great was this. I don't know if people remember this. This was back in 2011 when the TVs were switching over from analogue to digital, and this was a campaign that we pitched for, which was worth £1 million, and we won the campaign, and that literally just took us up a few levels and notches. And that pitch was not easy. I went in there. We went in there, our team with like really big boys, and we went in there and they were like, within half an hour, they called me on the train and go, right, you've just won this campaign. And that literally was a big one. So yeah, it's been great. The Women Like Me Business Club, I put that together because I was seeing women in business, not really, being able to speak to women like them, that look like them, or come from the same background, and I kind of put that together. And that's doing really well. It's been like great, and where I've just basically not worried too much about the storms, I've just got on. I've literally managed to just build up a profile and keep going 18 years later. And I have my own brand, Mavis Amankwah, as well. Business challenges. And if you could just click the slide for me just until we find the clicker. So yeah, firstly, why did I start a business? I think most importantly, as I said, started off around 2000 doing the research and so forth, and really, 2002 is really when it really kicked off. And it was definitely passion. Where I was working at the time as an IT consultant, my job was going. There were other opportunities, but I kind of took that opportunity to look at starting my own thing. I worked for one of the biggest brands for women of colour, which you've probably heard of. It's called Sleek. They've just been bought out by Boots. They again started off as a very small business and have really developed over the years. Create wealth and a legacy, and I think it was just passion. Just wanted to do something for myself. One thing that people don't really tell you a lot about is the challenges in business, because nobody wants to look like they're having challenges, if that makes sense. It's a bit like the young people, they can go out in their onesies and flip-flops and socks, where for me I think that should be stay at home. But the young people are going out there and doing that, the millennials. So the challenges that I've had over the years are definitely cash flow crisis. I had many of those. I remember one day, I think it was 2007 or 8 or so. I remember saying to my PA that we needed £25,000, and she told me that the exact figure was £656, and I nearly fell on the floor and said, oh my God, what am I going to do? And that's when I realised that cash flow was king and queen, princess and prince. This is where a lot of businesses really have the crisis, is the cash flow. So you need to make sure as a business you've got enough cash flowing, because when the crisis happens, it's very hard to get yourself back up. Putting your eggs in one basket. I think I had to learn that, as I said, around 2007, 2006, 2007, by basically having not having many businesses at that particular time. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying because I do help people with business loans and advice that I now want to become a car mechanic. Doing something within your area and your remit that's similar to what you're doing. So, looking at all of the challenges there. growing too quickly. I remember, I think it was 2010, or was it 2000? Sorry, the years, it's 18 years, so sometimes you forget the years, where we had literally won so many contracts at one particular time that we didn't have enough resources, and we literally just grew so quickly that we couldn't actually service the demand that we had. So that was one thing that I kind of picked up and had to adapt and change. Losing contracts, I tell you, when I was working in diversity communications, there was a lot of pitching to be doing. I'd go out and pitch, and I'd go with the team and pitch. We spend so much money, so much time, so much resources, fancy, all singing, all dancing presentation. You go in, a contract's like 200,000, you walk in there and go, yeah, I'm here for the contract. You pitch, you think you did a good job, and then you're up with these big boys, big competition. And I remember losing a contract which was about 300,000, and that was like, wow, how do you recover from that? You know, but one thing I've noticed is that whatever you do, another door always opens, you know, and that's why it's good to diversify. That's why it's good to have different options and understand your business model as well, and make sure that you could tweak that accordingly. 2000 recession came in, 2015, I had the last recession, been through two of those. You know, weathering those storms have not been easy, but it's about that multiple streams of income, having a good plan, ensuring that you've got a structure, you know, you've got a plan B, a plan Z, having that contingency to make sure that you can sustain yourself. Having an experienced mentor. I had a mentor, but I didn't really have an experienced mentor. I should have got that. And I think one of the biggest blows for me was losing my member of staff that literally just died on me. In 2013, she went to sleep, never woke up, and I was looking for her like for the whole day, and then I discovered her in her home dead on the floor, and that literally was one of the biggest challenges for me, because she had worked with me for nearly 10 years, and then to kind of like find out that she just passed away at the age of 28, and she was my everything. It was a big blow for me. Obviously the childhood trauma and all the other stuff that happened, and then this one was just like beyond my own understanding. But what was really interesting about that is that that helped me to basically look at some of the things that I'd been through in the past, from the childhood stuff, and realised, you know, who I was and where I was going. And I remember one day waking up and I said, oh, I'm not going to do this no more, because Ruth, her name was Ruth, is not here, and I'm just giving up now. And I remember just going, no, you can't, she'd want you to do this, she'd want you to do this. And I think for me, I've had a lot of challenges. You know, if I said that I haven't, I would be lying. But those challenges, you can get through them. It's just, how do you get through them? What do you need to do? Bringing the right people on board, speaking to the right people, bringing on the professionals. I've noticed that when you bring on professionals, you bring on experts, you kind of identify what your weaknesses are, and you fill those gaps, you know, and that's something that we have to learn to do. And it's very hard, you know, oh yes, I'm good at this, oh I'm good at maths, I'm good at this. You know, you can't be good at everything, you know, so it's being able to understand what those are, and it's very important to do a SWOT analysis on yourself as well. I remember when we won so many contracts, my internal systems was just a mess. And I remember one time I was trying to basically do some client work on a system, and one of my staff sent the wrong information to the wrong client, and that was just literally because of internal problems, and that literally made me say I need to fix up on internals. And the great thing is now you've got so many good software out there that can help you to grow your business, from CRMs to accounting to project management and so forth. But in all of it, I had to keep smiling. You know, it was hard to keep smiling, but I had to, because I could see the vision, the mission, and the purpose of where I was going, and everything that happened for a reason. And I kind of looked at it from that perspective, and you know, instead of feeling sorry for myself, oh God, what's happened is really bad, I just said, no, let that be a learning curve, pick up yourself, move on, and so forth. Revising your costs, I think that's definitely one as well, being able to understand your costs, and you know, your kind of forecast of what could happen if you lose a contract, what could happen if this person stops working with you, what could happen when, you know, all your staff go on holiday in summer, You know, these are the kind of things that you really need to think about. And people don't realise these things until they get into it and then realise, oh, all my staff have gone on holiday, July and August, and they're calling and they're booking, and I've got no staff. So it's been able to identify all of these from the outset and have a plan, and that's why the business plan is so important. You know, many people speak to me, they don't have a plan, and I'm just thinking, wow, you know, today you guys came here using your phones, your Waze and your TomToms. If you didn't have that, how would you get here? Same thing applies in business. Cutting down the costs and monitoring that cash flow as well is really important. Diversifying and looking at business direction. You know, what is it that you want to achieve out of your business? It changes from where I've come from day one to 18 years later. It's not the same. You know, and that's one thing I've realised. You know, you kind of grow out of fashion. Your business does grow out of fashion because you've got new boys in town. You know, things change. It's a bit like if I came in here wearing flares and like really big platforms from the 70s. I walk in here, everyone would think, is she okay? What age is she? Same thing in business. You need to keep up with the times, keep up with the technology, and sometimes that can be challenging. But you need to be really on top of your game. You don't need to know everything, but you need to know what's happening as well. Having contracts is important as well. Marketing and PR has been one that I just always keep going. Looking for new business opportunities is one, and then seeking professional help, as I said earlier on. What did I do? I shouted on the highest mountain ever when I was stuck many years ago, and I said, somebody help me. And I got some good help and I got some bad help. But what I knew is that I needed to get that help to take my business to the next level, and it's been an amazing journey, and you can see from all the achievements that I've had. Looking at a SWOT analysis, is your business that you're doing, is it in growth, is it in decline, and what's the opportunity, is there any threats? You know, it's looking at all these things, regulations. I spoke to a lady the other day, she was making 400 grand turnover 2 years ago, and then CQC, because she runs a business, came in and basically just like said, this is not a good business, this is not a good service, this is not a good product, and she literally lost about 150k in 6 months. And that was because she didn't have a plan. Obviously she wasn't expecting them. They came and they literally just really took her down. So you need to make sure you have all of these contingency plans as well. And as I said, look at your weak areas and work on those as well. Set yourself some smart goals. You can't firefight over there, try and do social media over there, try and cook dinner over there, try and do business cards over here, try and speak to staff. It's just not possible for one person to do it. So you need to bring on a team. I've always had a team and I've believed in the team. And a lot of people say, oh, why do you have a team? It costs money, but it works. Because when you're sick, something goes wrong, you can delegate, you can have a team that can help you. And bringing on a good team does really, is really helpful. If some of you have met some of my team, you will realise that they're all helpful. Some of them, they're like, oh, they're cool, oh, we want to speak to Mavis. And sometimes because I get overwhelmed with a lot of people that just come to my office sometimes. Sometimes I'm hiding under the table. And I remember one day a lady came and I was literally hiding behind the banner. She's like, oh, I need to see Mavis. And one of my staff just said, look, do you know what? I can help you, you know, and they were happy. They didn't want to speak to me again. And with most people, I say to them, I've got a team. There's someone even better than me. So you need to have a really good team as well. So checking my plan of actions, rewarding myself. I think that's something we don't do as human beings, you know, whether it's a treat, whether it's a new shoes or handbag or reinvesting in some of your profits. Rewarding yourself on the progress that you have made, because no one's going to really cheer for you. You know, you have to really give yourself that confidence as well. Questions? Any questions? Yes, okay, we've got two.
Sorry, my name is Manuel. I wanted to ask, how did you get the experience or knowledge you had to start your business advice company?
Interesting. When I first started, I didn't have any knowledge. I just knew that I wanted to do business. I was reading a lot of books. Up to today, I read a lot of books. A lot of it is self-taught. I took quite a lot of business classes. I went to a lot of workshops, lots of seminars, especially when I first started, and basically learned every single thing from what was cash flow to turnover to things that didn't even make sense to me, that literally now it's very clear. So for me, I started off just basically educating myself on a regular basis. Even though I had the business and it was operating, I was always learning and trying to do better, and that's literally what it is. I think, no PhD or MBA can get you prepared for business. That's one thing I definitely will say.
So follow up. So did you do all of that before you started it or during?
During.
How long did that take?
It's still going. I'm still learning, to be honest. It's an ongoing thing, to be honest, depending on what it is. Obviously, for me, PR wasn't my area. When I was doing lots of PR for organisations, diverse communications, it wasn't my area of expertise, but I learnt it. And literally it's learning the coaching and doing lots of courses, courses, workshops. And the thing is, Richard Branson says, you don't always have to know everything. You can actually, I'm not saying, go and give me your car and let me try and fix it, because I really won't be able to help you on that one. But just basically having some knowledge and implementing it and working towards developing as well. But personal development is something that I've always had a strong thing about. You have to develop yourself, you have to keep learning, you have to keep training, you have to keep going on courses. That is something that you need to do regardless. I mean, I think even the, big people out there that we know, the famous people, they're always learning and developing, because you just need to be able to, really build up yourself. Question here.
Yes, so I picked up when you said, because I totally agree, you can't do wear 10 hats at one time. So what I was going to ask is, in terms of, building a team or having a team, how were you able to start doing that? Because my issue was trust. Like, how were you able to build that trust? Because I think that was my issue. I know in future I'm going to need a team, but it's trusting people to handle your vision the way you have it in your head. Trusting that they're aligned with your vision, they'll know how to handle it. Trusting them with your money. How were you able to get to that stage?
It's an interesting one. I think for me, I've always just had a team, because I see that a team is also going to help me. I make sure that any recruitment that I'm doing, the people fit the job. So the first thing is the job description, making sure the job description fits, looking at the salary, looking at their experience, what skills they have, what their expertise is, anything that's unique about them. And then that's the first thing I do. Then I'll interview them, and then I start getting to know them. Now, it's really weird, because a lot of the team that I have is so strange. I take people on instinct. As much as they might have a really good CV and everything else, I just take people on instinct. It's just something that I do, and what they tell me, and when they tell me what's your vision in 5 years and where they're going. And definitely references as well are also quite important. But I think if you can't take away that trust, if you can't have that trust element, you won't be able to move forward. Some people say, you give them your bank, you give them your card, you give them, at the end of the day, you have to, because how are you going to grow? You're not going to be able to, you're going to hold on to your bag, and you're going to hold on to your social media password, and you're going to hold on. How are you going to move forward? So you have to, but again, it's with a plan. It's making sure you're budgeting and making sure you bring on the right people. I remember a lady about 16 years ago, she was actually stealing. She was going into my bag and actually taking money from my bag, and I had to literally find out about 3 months later this lady was actually stealing. And I went up to her and I said, "You've been stealing from my actual bag, and I'm paying you every single month." And she just cried and broke down and was telling me so many things that were going wrong. And a lot of people would go, "Sack her, sack her, sack her." Some people said, "No, I'm not going to sack her." Someone said to me, "Don't sack her, work with her." And I worked with her, and we started, getting her help. And I think that's something that I'm quite strong about. Just because if someone makes a mistake or does something wrong, doesn't mean that you should, some people have like a militant attitude. I don't believe in that. I believe in that building up and helping to grow. And, she went on and she's still in contact with me. But you have to be able to trust people, because if you can't, you'll be, it'll be never ending. You'll be stuck and you won't grow. You won't grow, especially with whatever your vision or mission is. One more question over there, and move on to the next one.
So that you've got many different brands. I was just wondering, how do you know, or how do you study a gap in the market in order to know how to provide a service?
Definitely got to be desk research. Desk research of what's happening in the market, knowing what's happening for the future, for the vision. So for me, when I said I want a new challenge, 18 years, because I've been doing this whole business planning, helping people advising, diversity comms, I'm a bit fed up of it. I looked at what was going on in the marketplace, and I went into recruitment. I thought I'd like to do recruitment. Then I started looking at, okay, lots of nurses are needed. Nurses are needed every single day. Regardless, we're an ageing population, we're growing older, and I literally started looking at it from that perspective and doing my research. So it's definitely got to be field research, desk research. There's lots of reports out there that you can pick up. I mean, every industry, I don't know, to say there's a bad industry, I'll be wrong, but most of it needs to be your expertise and your skill set. But you need to understand that market and realise, is that going to be for me or not? Like, there's lots of regulations. Like, for instance, one of the, like, if you want to open a nursery, you know it's Ofsted. If you want to work with vulnerable people, it's CQC. But if you want to do someone's hair and put chemicals, you don't need any qualifications for something like that. But we know that all of these markets are growing and thriving markets. But it's more about where you're going to position yourself, what's your unique selling point, and how do you sustain? Because you can have the best business. This could be, nurseries is like a great business to open. I know someone has opened nurseries and had to close them down, and you think, why? So again, it's just doing your research and seeing what is your expertise and what are your strengths as well. But every market is good. One more question before we... Yes, sir.
Mavis, I'm really interested to get your thoughts. I mean, Brexit. What's your thoughts? What does that mean for us as a community, and what does that mean for us as black business owners?
Brexit, I think this country still will go on regardless of what happens. That's how I see it, and I've always seen it like that. I don't think we will be affected in any drastic way. Yes, we will be affected, but if you look at this country in terms of the economy, in terms of the taxes, in terms of how businesses grow and develop, there's always going to be opportunity where we will not be affected, majorly. People still will be able to come into the country and so forth, but I think from a business perspective, I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a great gap in the market. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more market share in some industries, maybe food and drink and so forth, but I think Brexit, we will not really be affected by Brexit. If you think about it, we're a European country that we use the pound. And that pound, today it's probably not strong, last week probably wasn't strong, but we can still use our pound and get places, so I feel for me, Brexit is an opportunity to hone into things. I don't think we'll be affected, but our food will be more, shopping will be more, things will be more expensive, and that's what we need to kind of cater for and work towards as well. I don't think the property market's going to crash, I think everything's just going to be fine. Look at now, we're unstable, but we're still moving, So yeah, that's my take on it. Okay, any more questions? Okay, so because of time, so what are my secrets? Secrets, who wants to know? Yes. All right, turn off the lights. No, I'm joking. And I'm going to share a couple of my secrets, and I've got a few people that are going to come and talk about multiple streams of income as well. So what are the secrets? Okay, I'm going to whisper them, so you have to open your ears very well. So, number one of the main things I see people struggle with is their target audience. And I like to use this example. If I came in here today with a stair lift, does everybody know what a stair lift is? Yeah. I came in here with a stair lift and I said, hi everyone, this is a stair lift, it's like £3,000. Can you buy it, Maria? Why?
I don't think I need one at the moment.
Okay. Merlin?
I don't need one.
You don't need one? Wait, you're my friend. I want you to buy it.
I'd buy it.
But you don't really need it.
No.
Okay, fine. But if I came in and said, right, here's the latest computer gadget or latest phone, would you buy it? Yeah? So
Shoes or handbags?
shoes, handbag, men, football, and let me not talk about boxing. But target audience is where a lot of businesses fail. They don't know who they're targeting. They just want to target everybody. You know, this area, Stratford, is a huge area. It's Newham speaks 110 different languages. So many people from diverse backgrounds. Today is quiet outside around Stratford because today's Eid. We have a high Muslim population here in Newham. So you need to understand who is your target audience, who are your bread and butter customers that are going to pay you £1 every single day. That's what you need to do. You need to define who they are, where they are, how much they spend, how do you reach to them. You know, this is something that I've seen that people just miss the boat on this one. You know, as I said, if I came in and I said, here's a stairwell, everyone buy it, I'm expected to sell 10 today. You know, literally, you would be so angry with me and say, Mavis, I'm sorry, I like you, but I do not need it. So you need to find out what your target audience needs and where to reach them. So that's number one. Number two is the multiplying those revenue streams. And it could be in anything. I mean, now there's so much happening, from the blockchain to the stocks and trading to, there's so much happening, you know, digital currency. I'm still trying to get my head around it, but it's something that's definitely going places. So you need to look at multiple streams of income within your industry, within your sector. I'm not saying go out of your way and, as I said, start fixing cars, because I can't fix any cars, I can just drive them. But what is it that you need to do? And I'm going to take this opportunity to give a couple of, about 5 minutes or so, to a couple of people that are going to quickly come and talk about multiple income streams. So please, let's welcome Angela from My Money Management. I'm not sure which business she's representing today, thank you, but she's going to come and talk a little bit about blockchain and Bitcoin and all the digital stuff that's happening.
I'm actually representing my blockchain education today. Yeah, so it's just a sister company to my management. What do we do? I mean, the name speaks for itself. We educate people and masses about blockchain and cryptocurrency. Hands up, who actually heard about blockchain, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency? Okay. I think there are lots of people in the room, so it's not. So I think there is that misconception out that Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and blockchain is a scam. Yeah, I think it's around everywhere at the moment. Anything new that comes up, people associate it with scam initially, before we have mass adoption. So that's why we came up with My Blockchain Education. We're a training organization. We've been training for the last 10 years in different sector. I mean, management, marketing, finance. But in the last 2 years, we've actually been training people on blockchain and cryptocurrency. So that's who we are. Right. If we look at the evolution of technology over the years, the railway, motor car, aircraft, mobile phone, Microsoft, Apple, Google, social media, how did it change our life? How all this technology has changed our life during the course of all these years? Has it had an impact in our life? Yeah. If you had a chance to invest in any of those companies back then, would you have done so? Definitely, isn't it? Yeah. It's the same thing with blockchain and cryptocurrency. If we knew about Bitcoin back in 2008, would you have invested? Yeah. Back then, it was less than a penny. In 2008, when it was first introduced, that's when blockchain as well came up. Yeah, Bitcoin was penny, less than 1 penny. And do you know how much is it today? 5K? 6,000 pounds. Yeah, over the last 1 month, 1 month and a half, it's gone up from 4,000 pounds to 6,000 pounds within a month. Could you see the growth? Yeah, put your money in the bank, 4,000 pounds. Do you think you get a return of 2,000 pounds? Yeah. I was talking to my cousin the other day. He showed me his bank statement. He said to me, "Look, I've got 9,000 pounds in the account. The bank has only paid me £1.67 as interest for 1 month." He said, "Where can I invest my money?" to make it work for me and not for the bank. £1.67. I said, okay, there are different ways you can invest your money, where you can get 10%, 20% per month. He said to me, yes, I'll be interested. And he invested. I showed him how to actually put his money into the cryptocurrency market. He's been trading. And within a month, he invested about $600. That yielded him about $186. That's when he showed me his bank statement for £1.67 interest he got from Barclays, and the $186 he got from $600 within 1 month and 5 days. Yeah, and people still call it a scam. Yeah, a market that is trading about 200 billion per day, 250 billion right now per day, market capitalization of 250 billion, and people still call it a scam. Well, you cannot blame them. I think everything that comes new, people are skeptical about it. It takes time for them to actually adopt it, embrace that change. Same thing happened when the internet came. When the internet came, no one believed in it. They wanted to ban it. Can you imagine our life without internet today? I don't think so. Yeah? You cannot even, for 10 seconds, you cannot even imagine your life within your mobile phone. Data on your mobile phone. Can you? Yeah? A lot of people make a living on their mobile phone these days by trading. So that's the evolution of technology. So what was the common denominator of all these inventions? They were solution providers. Would you agree? They were all solution providers. And who benefit from it? People who adopt them at the early stage. You always get the spin-off and benefits from all of this. As I said, if you had a chance to invest in Google, Facebook, Amazon back then, could you imagine how much your shares would be today? A lot, isn't it? So what's next? When the internet came, it was an internet of information, isn't it? All information was easily accessible to all of us. Yeah, before you type a whole sentence in Google, it will come up with what you want to search. Is it not true? Yeah. But there was one thing that was missing. The internet of value. How you can transfer value from one person to the other. When you're sending an email to someone, do you know you're not sending an original email, you're sending a copy? Which is, I mean, internet has been great. Yeah, it has changed people's lives. Okay, I've got 1 minute, sorry. But we still needed something where you can transfer value from one person to the other without any intermediaries. That's where blockchain came in. So we train people, we run courses every month, face-to-face in London, for people who want to understand more about blockchain and how to get into the cryptocurrency market.